great day, attractive thinkers and visual encouragers around the world. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance. Dr. Toni Hatton here, your identity coach and get to the root specialist at the Attractive Thinker Guru. This is where we support you as new and aspiring entrepreneurs on your entrepreneurial journey. We support you with mental tools for mental healing, mental strength, and mindset maintenance. You're going to need this because being an entrepreneur is two different mindsets going on. You're shifting from the mindset that you had into this new mindset, which also shifts your identity. And you're going to need tools so that, like the groundhog, you don't turn around and run back to where you came from when you're faced with challenges or you're faced with growth. Challenges support us in growing, but if we keep viewing them as challenges and not opportunities to grow, we're going to run from the challenge. We're going to be afraid and we're going to, run back to the comfort zone and the familiar. So we're here to support you in living life beyond the break. Today we're going to be talking about that. Welcome my co-host Tichet Bradshaw to another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance.
Happy Mindset Monday, everybody. We made it through another week full of power. You have the opportunity to do what you have never done, go where you have never gone, and have all that you deserve to have in this lifetime. As always, it's a great day to be alive.
Yes, it is. It is a fantastic and amazing day to be alive. I want you to always remember that, attractive thinker and visual encourager. We lose a lot of things in this life, but it's only until we lose ourselves when we have lost everything. And if you haven't lost yourself, if you're still breathing, you have an opportunity to continue to acquire what it is that your heart desires because you are everything. As long as you don't lose you, you're great. You have everything. I want you to remember to purchase your copy. If you haven't already done so, run on over to Amazon because you need this resource. You need the Attractive Thinker book in your library, on your nightstand, on your desk. You need it because you're when you hit roadblocks, you want to turn to these pages and get unstuck quickly so that you can continue to make progress in your life and in your business. You're going to need these because what flows through your life flows through your business. What's going on in your life, how you handle life, sometimes it's the same thing that's going on in your business, how you're going to handle your business. If you're afraid in life, you're going to be afraid in business. If you're unsure and uncertain and not clear in life, that you're going to bring those same attributes into your business and those same challenges into your business. And you want to know how to handle these challenges, how to reshape them, how to flip them, how to create something good from them so that that good flows through your life and your business, because you and your life, your business and your life are one. You and your business are one entity. What flows through your life, what flows through you, what you encounter. Today I posted on Facebook an episode, of course, from that we recorded last week. I posted it today to Shet. I believe it was called It's Not Worth It. I posted It's Not Worth It. And that's an episode, Attractive Thinker, that you want to visit our YouTube channel. It's on our YouTube channel as well, Beyond the Break 2020. You want to look at that episode because there's a lot of content there to support you in getting unstuck quickly and also in placing guards around your heart. As a new and aspiring entrepreneur, you need these guards in place because think about it. You can't function in your life every time you turn around, something's breaking your heart. Let me rephrase that. Get this visual for a second. Imagine every time you turn around in life, something's stealing your peace. Something is stealing something from you. Every time you turn around in life, you're crying. How are you going to function like that? Every time you turn around, you're tolerating something that's less than what you are worth and less than what you desire. Every time you turn around, you can't really get what you want. You have to settle for less than what you want. You can't be successful and prosper in life like that. And that's why I'm excited that we have these attractive thinker tools, because they help us continue constantly shift back into our great space, shift back into your productive space, shift back into your prosperity. As an entrepreneur, you have to shift back into your creativity when life knocks on your door. Today, we're going to be talking about living life beyond the breaking point. Beyond the breaking point. What is life like beyond the breaking point? Sometimes, Tishat, that breaking point is so excruciating that we can't even imagine not only life beyond the breaking point, or should I say, not only what life can be like beyond the breaking point, but actually having a life beyond the breaking point. I know when I was going through a particular breaking point in my life, my brain wouldn't even allow me to see anything beyond where I currently was and what I was currently going through. And at moments, if I did imagine what life would be like going forward, it wasn't anything fantastic and amazing. It wasn't anything so great and grand that it will pull me through my current space or circumstance that I was in. It wasn't anything so exciting that I would have that to look forward to, because I was broken. Tasha, talk to us about life beyond the breaking point.
Absolutely. When you think about a breaking point, like you said, it is so traumatic, right? That sometimes instead of focusing on making it beyond that point, you're still holding on to before. You're holding on to the identity of what you were before the break hit, right? And so you have a hard time moving forward because all you can think is, I want to go back before this happened. I want to rewind it. I want to undo, and you start to resent yourself and the situation for what happened in the breaking point, rather it was your fault or not. You still resent the situation, right? And sometimes we blame ourselves for things that we didn't really have any control over. And again, one of the scriptures that I stand by is, what the devil means for your harm, God means for your good, and all things work together for the good for those that love God and according to his purpose, right? Those are the two scriptures I had to stand on when I was in the break, right? And so the reason why we're doing beyond the breaking point is because we are hoping to get people to understand, whether you are going into a break, heavily in the break, or coming out of the break, that there's so much more to life beyond what just broke you, beyond a point that you felt like you couldn't make it through, the point you didn't want to live through, the point that you felt like you couldn't let go, the thing that made you happy, the thing that almost made you quit, the thing that made you cry every night for a while, the thing that made you have tears and then not have tears. When you cry yourself and you have tears and you go through the stage where you cry and there's no tears, beyond that break, you can't, when you're in that break, you can't imagine that there's life more, let alone better, beyond this point, that there is even a life. All you imagine is the loss. You see the loss, you see the break, and you imagine having to get used to life being about this break. But
Yes.
there is a point of healing. There is a point that if you allow yourself to heal, that it's possible, that you can build a life that is great beyond what this is, that this does not, that whatever your breaking point is does not have to be your identity, right? It doesn't have to be, your life doesn't have to revolve around what broke you, but you can take your pain and turn it into power if you allow yourself to heal. Allowing yourself to heal, you have to go through different stages. One of them you have to do is acceptance, right? You have to accept what just happened. You have to accept what you've been through. You have to realize you can't hold on to what happened before the break. You have to accept what happened in the break and then accept where you are now. Because if you're watching this and you have gone through a break, you made it through that break, right? You still have breath, and maybe some of you are still in the break, right? But hopefully, we can give you something that will allow you to decide to push past that break. Because once you make a decision, and some of us are just one bold decision away from living life beyond that break, right? When you get to that point that um you allow yourself the decision to move past what this is, or understand that your life is so much bigger than what you are going through. It's so much bigger than what you have been facing. It's so much bigger than the hurt and the pain. When you understand that it's bigger, it allows you to push through that so that you don't have to keep reliving the pain over and over again. Here's the thing. There are some things in the breaking point where we feel like we don't want to go past it,
Mm.
right? Because we don't want to face life. We don't want to be happy because that means a heartbreak again. We don't want to. We could feel guilty for making it through it when other people didn't. There's so many reasons why we have a hard time going past the breaking point. I remember being in a breaking point at one point, and I said I would never smile again. You know,
Mm-hmm.
want to smile again. I didn't want to laugh again. I couldn't even think about an answer. My heart was so broken. I couldn't even think about an answer. I didn't even know if I wanted an answer. But then that came to a point where you get tired of living in the break. You get tired of being breaking point after breaking point after breaking point. We say just when you think you are through, there's another level to being through. There's another level to being done. So then you become done with being done, through with being through, and sick and tired of being sick and tired. When you get done at to that point, now you are ready to push beyond the break, right? Because you're tired of having to live life in the break. You try to get comfortable in the break. You try to make a home in the break. You try to attach your identity to the break, and it just does not work. It just makes it worse because your life identity has nothing to do with the situation and circumstance you go through, but it has everything to do with the purpose that's waiting for you. And that purpose is should be powerful enough to drag you through what you was just trying to identify with, which is the break, right? And so a lot of times when you have acceptance, you say, okay, I can't go back and change it. So you let go. The next thing to do is to let go of the resentment, let go of the guilt, let go of what attached you to it. And that's going to take a lot of work. This is not overnight because it's hard to let go of something when you feel like you have nothing else to hold on to. When you feel like you don't have anything to go on, you don't know what's next after this, you don't know where you're going, you don't know where you like, you feel like this just fell on your lap. Everything you might have felt like everything was fine and it fell on your lap, right? And so now you have to put up with whatever this is, whatever change it makes. Okay, so in order for you to live life beyond the break, you gotta see where you are now in the break, right? But not identify it, just observe. Observe where you are in the break and figure out how to take your life and arrange it in a way that does not allow you to become disabled because of the break, right? And so now that you have the ability to do that, then you'll start to see the clouds open up a little more. You'll start to think, okay, maybe there is more beyond the break. But here's the thing: life is grand and great beyond the break. If that statement can help you to push past so you can see what that's about. Now, here's the thing: everybody's life beyond the break is not the same. Your life beyond the break is not going to be the same as my life beyond the break because my purpose is different than your purpose, right? But imagine for a second if you're in a breaking point, you're coming out of a break or you're going into a break. Imagine what life would be if you could come to terms with what broke you, right? Imagine what life could be after you pass the heartbreak of it all, after you pass the pain of it all. What life would be if you learned how to turn your pain into power? For me, that's what happened with visual encouragement. It was my way of turning pain into power. I decided to take my heartbreak, which was depression, loss, depression, and all that stuff. And I went and looked for answers, and then I began to give out those answers, right? But those answers wasn't just for other people, they were serving me. So you should be the first partaker of your gift, of your, whatever it is, your purpose. You should be the first partaker of your gift. So you use your need for an answer to serve other people, but also to take part in the eating of the answer, right? And so I begin to find answers in normal things in life. We always talk about flowers on here. I have a poem on my website, visualencouragement.com, that's called The Flowers Speak, where I talk about the different stages of coming out of pain, right? And so um me coming up with an answer by looking at things that we would normally take for granted and finding a message that would increase my vibration, finding a message that would give me just an inkling of hope. Because if you lose hope, you're on the verge of losing you, right? You lost all hope. You all you need is a inkling of hope. If
Mm-hmm.
you have an inkling of hope, that's enough to push you through. And so I had to find hope in things that um didn't I usually take for granted, like flowers. I had to look at the process of a flower and determine where I was in my process. I can be sitting on a park bench crying, broken hearted, just done, and a butterfly will fly past me, and I begin to get the process of the butterfly as a message of hope not to die in my process. That everybody goes through a caterpillar stage, everybody goes through a chrysalis stage, everybody creates a different life in the cocoon, in the place of stuck, in the place of dark, in the place where you're most vulnerable to prey. Your transformation takes place in that. So if you allow yourself to persevere, you come out as the butterfly. So I look at the butterfly on the bench and feeling sad on the bench, looking at the butterfly, and I'm reminded not to die in my process, but also, where am I in this break? You got to understand where you are in the break. Are you just going in? Are you deep in? Or are you on your way out? Do you even want to come out? You have to determine where you are in your break, where you are in your process. We always talk about how life is a game, and we're looking at trends. We're looking at different trends and repetition of things that's going on, so you can find the different trends. And we're determining where we are in a break because things repeat itself over and over again. And when things repeat itself, you have to pay attention to it. How people say we look at numbers and 333, 1111, 12, 12, 12, and 444. They say that those when you see a repetition of numbers, that is the spiritual way um of letting the angels know that they are with you, or to give you a message, so you have some sort of message, right? So you can be in the middle of crash, and if you see 444, if you pay attention and know what 444 stands for, you can see that 444 and just be encouraged right there in the middle of the break.
My God.
Yeah, while you smack in the middle of the break, you'll see a message of hope. So for me, there's many different things that give me messages. So butterfly is one, a flower is one. I could be somewhere heartbroken, and I could look down and I'll see a butterfly on the flower. I'll get messages, right? That okay, this is a game. I need to keep going. Don't die my process. I might be in a cocoon. And in the cocoon, there's some processes that go in that will make a difference for what how I look when I come out of this cocoon. But the fact of the matter is, it's going to come a point where I'm going to come out of the cocoon. How do I want to push my way out? How do I want to begin to push my way out? And once you make a decision to push yourself beyond a breaking point, it increases your hope, increases your vibration, and gives you every bit of a fighting chance in order for you to obtain it. That decision has to be grounded. That decision has to be powerful. That decision to move beyond the breaking point has to be stronger than your fear of what's happening next.
Mm,
That decision of wanting to be beyond the breaking point has to be stronger than your idea of I need to go back to where I was and I need to keep where I was. Where you was one level, but what if that breaking point was to get you to another level? What if that breaking point was to get you to understand who you are and your purpose? What if that breaking point was a part of your process for the reason why you decided to take on a human experience? What if that reason for you going through the break was so that you can change and so that you can make a difference, or not even just in everybody's life, but in your own life, but so that you can make a difference in the earth? What if you went through all of that for the purpose? So then you can turn your power, your pain into power and operate in your purpose. And then when you in your purpose and you're past the pain and you look back, you're actually grateful for all that you had to you're actually grateful for yourself for enduring. They always say, for the joy set before him, he endured, right? When you understand the joy set before you, and this is what we're telling you, we're saying there's joy beyond the breaking point. There's life beyond the breaking point. There's so much more beyond the breaking point. More life than you can imagine beyond the breaking point.
mm,
Let that joy be set before you
mm.
so that you can endure and see your way out. Back to you, Dr. Tony.
Shachette, that is so fantastic and amazing, so powerful and so true what you're saying, because there is, when you were saying there's life and joy beyond the break, there is a life that you've never considered. And you have to be open to that. We're going to get to that. But before we go there, I want to give you a definition of the word break, because this is very important. We know how a break feels, but sometimes we can't give words to what's actually happening here, what actually took place and what actually broke. You feel broken, you feel heavy, you feel weighted down, you feel beat up, you feel wounded. When we talk about break, the definition for break is to smash, to split, to divide into pieces violently. A break isn't just something that snaps, or, oh my God, like, oh wow, that's broken. No, no, no. Some force took place in order to break that. To reduce to pieces or fragments, to shatter, to burst. So, what is actually shattering and bursting and being torn into pieces? Your heart, your spirit, your creativity was shattered. Your peace was in fragments. Your clarity was shattered. Your spirit was smashed. I want you to think about that. It's your heart that breaks in the middle of a break, a heartbreak, something that um, made you feel less than who you really are, something that snatched you out of this energetic space that you were in, be it creativity, or something that disrupted your peace, something that shattered your joy. When we talk about break, we're talking about these foundational pieces that we need to move around in life, to prosper and be successful in life and in business. So this is critical. We have to acknowledge this. To share, how many stories have you heard? How many times have you encountered people who bulldoze their way through a break, or and number one, and don't get the value of the breaking? And speaking of value of a breaking, I want you to turn to page 452 in the Attractive Thinker book, where we talk about the beauty of a broken heart. Page 452, The Beauty of a Broken Heart. You have to read that chapter, as a result of listening to this message, so it ties it all together and really supports you in understanding this breaking process and living life beyond the break. So some things that you told, when I said we bulldoze our way through it, we don't take the time to address the break. We don't take the time to address ourselves. We don't take the time to care for how we feel in this break. If the heart is what, I mean, think about it. It's just like your child coming in the room and they have their finger looks different. You can tell it's broken. They did something in the room, you heard a loud sound, and all of a sudden they come running down the hall and their finger doesn't look in its normal position as it should. Do you ignore that? Do you discount that and say it's not as bad as it looks? Do you not address it? Do you put a band-aid on that and kiss the boo-boo away? Do you not talk about it anymore and tell your child, listen, I understand something happened. We don't know what happened. Let's just not talk about this anymore. If that sounds weird to you, then that's what it feels like to a person who has experienced a break or is at a breaking point and is being discounted, ignored, pushed to the side. Oh, I don't have time to deal with that. I got to get back to what I was doing. I have a lot on my plate. I need to focus on this. And what you don't realize is that whatever it is that you're rushing back to do, you're doing it with a broken heart. You're not even the same person who was doing that prior to the break. Now you have this broken heart that's running your business. Now you have this broken heart who's keeping your appointments. Now you have this broken heart who's signing on clients. In what energy do you feel as though you're functioning and doing these things in, and is that energy productive? Is that energy going to bring you the fruit and the results that you're looking for? You are the most valuable player in your life. You're the MVP. You're the most valuable person in your life. And if you don't tend to yourself as such, everything that you put your hands to in your life is affected. It is affected. And sometimes, Tichet, we can infect the areas of our lives with our brokenness.
Mhm.
When we aren't healed, we're bleeding all over our health, the health aspect of our lives. We're bleeding all over the relationship aspect of our lives. We're bleeding all over the environment, all over the business deals, all over our clients and customers. When we're not healed, when we haven't taken the time to address our brokenness, not so much what broke you, but your response to it, what broke in you as a result of this breaking. Tichet, you mentioned how we wanted to rewind, how you want to go back to the way things used to be. Now, when we want to go back to the way things used to be, the only reason, one of the reasons, let's put it that way, that we want to go back to the way things used to be because it's familiar. You know how
Mhm.
to function under those sets of conditions. This new life that's being presented to you as a result of the breaking, you're not familiar with it. You don't know how to function in it. You don't know how to win that game. You don't know where things are. Everything's out of place. Prior to the breaking, this used to be over here, that used to be there. I was flowing, prior to the break. I could pick this up, pick that up, turn this around, rub this, answer the phone. Everything was flowing because I knew where everything was and I was doing it with speed. Now that I'm on the other side of this breaking in this unfamiliar territory, I can't, I got to slow down. I can't move as fast as I used to because I don't know where everything is. And then there's some new things that I don't even recognize. Now I got to figure out how that works or how that's supposed to be beneficial to me. When I was going through my breaking to shed, I had to reduce my life to the moment.
Mhm.
I couldn't even afford to have my mind run ahead of me with all of these scenarios because it was too overwhelming. My heart couldn't take the weight of anything other than what I was currently dealing with in that particular moment. I had to reduce my life to the moment. When you are experiencing a break, these are the things that you have to do. You have to restructure some things. But living life beyond a break, one of the first things I want to encourage attractive thinkers and visual encouragers about is this. There is not just a life beyond the break, but there's a life that you never considered beyond the break. There's a life that you couldn't imagine that's beyond this breaking. You have to be open to these things. If you don't believe that there is life beyond the break, or you believe what's beyond the break is not as good as what you had, then you're closing yourself off to a life that is beyond your imagination, a life that is beyond your plan, a life that is beyond your step one, step two, step three, or your to do list. What if the life that is being presented to you right now is more grander than your best plan, best laid plans that you had before? Would you be open to that? Or do you think that you know you're the only one that knows what's best for you? Spirit doesn't know what's best for you. Or you think that if life doesn't roll the way you want it to, then it's not good, or it's not great, or you can't get anything from it. So when you're living life beyond the break, meaning you've already come through the break, you got your hat on straight, you're trying to get your bearings, you know you're still great, and you're just not sure how to function going forward. What I would suggest, number one, you can't come in. See, a breaking changes your identity, it changes who you are. You can't come into a new identity with your old identity, dragging your old self into this new space. You have changed. It was an involuntary change. And if when you get your copy of the Attractive Thinker book, and if you already have your copy, you will find, I believe it's in some of the earlier chapters, you'll find conversation there about these involuntary breaks and how to govern yourself accordingly concerning that. This involuntary break, meaning it was against your will. You didn't, choose this particular break. So it, like Tichet said, it would be easy for you to desire the way things used to be, because the way things used to be, you didn't have to experience this breaking. The way things used to be, you didn't have to experience this pain, this unfamiliar experience. The way things used to be, you weren't in a foreign place. You weren't in a strange land. You knew what you were doing. You were familiar with the players and the people around you. You were familiar with the environment. But in this strange place after this breaking, everything has changed. How do you function with that? How do you function not knowing where you are in life? You can feel lost. But when you are beyond that breaking point, you have to be open to the fact that who you used to be is gone. Even if I tried to shed to be that girl again prior to the break, I've lost her. I don't even know how to be her anymore because I'm in a new space, and I can't bring her here because she listen, when you experience a break, it's like a splitting, a dividing of the two of you. The
Mm-hmm.
old you has gone its course with you. The old you has to stay where they are because they couldn't handle the break. That's why the two identities split. That's why you had to become someone different in order to handle this breaking process. The old you stayed back there, and this new you is the one that can handle this new life. The old you cannot handle this new life. So, with that clarity, now you can let them go. Let them go, because all the old you is going to do is make this new life look like the old life. And it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be out of place because it'll never be the old life. It'll just be this dysfunctional thing that I put together that I'm trying to function in, that's causing me more pain on top of the breaking pain that I just experienced. It creates a struggle. It makes things hard. It uses up my energy and my effort. It uses up my time. I end up spending more money trying to take my new identity and make it function as my old identity when I'm in a new space. I'm not in my old space. That old identity is for the old space. I'm in a new space, and this new identity, this involuntary breaking that took place in my life, it shifted me, it launched me into a new space. And in that new space, living life beyond the breaking point, you have to put some things in place in order to secure this new identity, in order to make this new space in your life work, in order to make it successful, in order for you to get results here. See, you can't hold on to the results that you had prior to that, because this new you in this new space wants to open you up to things you hadn't considered before. You're great. You're fantastic and amazing. You're creative. You're phenomenal. You're helpful and supportive, and you're optimistic, and you have a great outlook on life. You said, well, I had all of that prior to the break, Dr. Toni. Guess what? You still have that. You just have to embrace it on a new level.
Yes.
Use these new tools on this new level to pull out more of your greatness that you didn't know that you had. If it wasn't for pressure to shed, I would not know what I had inside of me. If it wasn't for the squeezing and the twisting and the pressing and the pushing and the pulling and the heaviness and the weight, that's what we're experiencing. When you feel heaviness, where do you think that's coming from? Something is pressing on you. Something is squeezing you. It's not squeezing you just to squeeze you. When there's squeezing going on, believe something is being released. Believe something else is taking place. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. We just did an episode on that. Just because something to the fact of just because you can't see it doesn't mean nothing's happening. I think we posted that maybe 2 weeks ago. You should go and listen to that. That's important. All of these episodes are important to you maintaining this new identity and being successful on this level and not really losing yourself at all. Just because you lost the old self, just because the old self is back, doesn't mean you've lost you, because you're endless. You can keep transforming into endless versions of yourself, greater versions of yourself, more powerful, more clarifying, more impactful versions of yourself. There's no end to you. So you really didn't lose anything. You gained something. And that's another thing that I wanted to talk to us about, attractive thinker and visual encourager, being open to the greater versions of yourself, being open, considering the fact that there's something greater that wasn't on your to-do list. It wasn't written in your business plan. It wasn't in your dream or your imagination. You never saw it or heard it before or touched it or felt it before, but it's yours. It's available to you. And you have to be open to that. Sometimes, and plenty of times throughout my entrepreneurial journey, I had to take my hands off of what I was trying to create and do and open myself up to divine guidance taking me where it wanted me to go, because it already knows where I belong. And I had to open myself up to that. I said, I release it. I'm open to your ideas. I'm open to what you want. Where should I be? What should I be doing? Who should I be with? Where should I be going? What should I do about this project? Should I hold on to this or should I let it go? When you're open and you're not so rigid, holding on to what you think you need, you'd be surprised at what really is going to bring you joy. You'd be surprised at what really is going to bring you peace. It's not your best laid out plans. And you're talking to people who understand the break, who understand breaking, being in a break, coming out of a break, and living beyond a break. We've been there and did all of that.
Mhm.
And, when I was in my break to shed, if I could share anything with the attractive thinkers and visual encouragers around the world today, one of the main things that I needed to know with certainty is if I was going to make it through this. And not just make it through this, but if I was going to thrive, if I was going to be okay. Will I smile again? Will I love again? Will I be happy again? Will I have that spark in my eye? Will I have that anticipation for amazing things in life again? Will I have that youthful spirit that I had before? Will I not be engrossed in fear? Will I be fearless again? Will I be able to function as a whole person again without carrying, you said it earlier, Tichet, without carrying the identity of my breaking? I don't want my breaking to be my identity. I don't want my breaking to be my story. I don't want my breaking to be the thing that I lead with all of the time. I don't want my breaking to be the thing that I carry, the weight. I don't want to eat with my breaking and sleep with my breaking and bathe with my breaking and have conversations with my breaking and travel with my breaking. I don't want my breaking, what broke me, to be my story. Instead, what I encourage you to do, attractive thinker and visual encourager, is shift your focus from what broke you to who you are now, what you've learned, and what's ahead that you hadn't considered. It's okay not to know what's ahead. It's okay not to know what's ahead. And we are living examples that there is life beyond a break. You will smile again. You will have friends again. What if you had to leave old friends and old relationships? Are you open to new ones, greater ones, ones that bring in more support than you've ever had in your life, more creativity and excitement than you've ever had in your life, ones that love you more than you've ever been loved in your life, relationships that add value, more value to your life than you've ever had in your life? Would you be open to that? See, these are the thoughts that pull us forward to share. These thoughts I call considerations. These are the considerations. See, when your mind has to consider these things. You may not fully believe it, but can you consider the fact that it's possible? Those are the thoughts that would get me out of the bed after a breaking. Those are the thoughts that gave me hope and, you know, encouraged me to pick up my pen again, even though I didn't feel like it. And I was, I said, well, maybe I could write another song. Maybe I could finish writing my book. Maybe I'll just write a few sentences. Maybe let me see if my inspiration is still there. Maybe I do have something to say. You know, sometimes it could be a struggle to get back into you. When we go through a breaking, we lose trust in ourselves. We lose heart. We lose belief in ourselves. And like you said, Tichet, it's a process. Healing is a process. Living life beyond the break is a process. There's a process. There are things you have to encounter along the way in order to get back to your place of wholeness and trusting and believing and loving yourself again. Because we don't know, like you said, Tichet, my breaking is different from your breaking and different from other attractive thinkers and visual encouragers' breakings. And everybody handles their breaking different. Everybody's process is different. But there are stages to the breaking process that we have to go through. And if we skip a stage, we stay stuck there. We stay stuck in a certain area and we can't progress. We can't move forward. It's just like if you mess up in school, and you mess up a grade, you can't move on to the next one. And everything that you needed to learn in that particular grade, you're going to need that going forward in order to progress. So we're here to support you in living life beyond the breaking point. There is a beautiful, fantastic, and amazing life available to you beyond the breaking point. It starts with your belief, and the Attractive Thinker book will definitely support you in clarifying and fortifying and strengthening your belief. Because belief is the foundation of everything that we do. You got to get that foundation right. You can't go forward waffling back and forth in your mind, should I or shouldn't I? Is this the right path or is that the right path? Am I good enough or aren't I? Am I worthy enough or aren't I? Do I still have something to say or don't I? Will they still believe me in my will they still believe in my business and my products and services, or won't they? You can't go full waffling back and forth. You have to decide. You set your mind. You decide how you want to live life beyond the breaking point. You get to sit down with pen and paper and your attractive thinker notebook and map out a whole new identity. An identity that's going to support you in this new space that you're in, which will support you in embracing the newness and being successful. I know it's not easy, but it's possible. And I always say to myself, if one man can do it, so can another. So can another. Um, Tichet, um, I was saying, I wrote some notes down while you were talking, and one of them was, if you have to let go, accept and open yourself up to the anticipation of a new experience that was not on your agenda. And we talked about that. Joy that you hadn't considered, and be okay with, be open to, and accept the fact that even if you can't see it, it's still there and available.
Mhm.
Even if you can't see it. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean that there's nothing there. Attractive thinkers, we are way beyond that. We know that
Mhm.
there's something beyond what we see because that's who we are. We see beyond what we're looking at. So
Mhm.
don't let your eyes cheat you out of a whole life for you, a whole new life for you. You got to go beyond what you see. You have to ignore the evidence because your faith is the real evidence. Your belief is the real evidence. You have to ignore this physical realm, the evidence of your sight, your hearing, your taste, your touch, your smell, and lock your vision in on what you don't see, what you feel, what you feel in your spirit. I feel like I can make it. I feel like it's going to be okay. Then believe that. If
Yeah.
that's what you feel, because what you feel is real. I feel like there's something up ahead. So what? You can't see it.
Mhm.
Just feeling it is enough. Feeling it is enough to make you get out of bed. Feeling it is enough to make you get back in the game. That's enough. And then you feel it, and then you move, and then you feel it, and then you move, and then you feel it and you move, and before you know it, you are way beyond the breaking point. You feel it and you take a step, and you feel and take a step, feel and take a step. You're going to feel your way there. Trust me. I know about
Mhm.
feeling your way there through the dark. Listen to some of our prior episodes. I learned a lot about the dark. And in the Attractive Thinker book, if you turn to page 215, it talks about something that's causing you to doubt yourself. Something that you don't see is causing you to doubt. You definitely want to read that on page 215, that section there. But when we talk about the darkness, I want you to read page 423, Clarity in the Midst of Darkness. I want you to take a look at that. There are several other sections prior to that and after that, but you can start there. Page 423, Clarity in the Midst of Darkness, because just because it's dark doesn't mean you have to be in the dark.
Mhm.
I want you to believe that with your whole heart. Just because it's dark doesn't mean you have to be left in the dark. Okay? So, another note that I took while you were talking to Shet is um, just like entering a new facility, you know, everything is unfamiliar. If you're entering into a new facility, you don't know where the bathrooms are. You don't know how many floors there are in the facility. You don't know where the rooms are on the floors. It's all new. If you're open to learning that, you should be open to learning the most important part about you, who you are beyond a break. You should be open to learning that as well. You're out of your comfort zone in a new facility. You must be open to learning, repositioning yourself, doing things differently, um, meeting new people, thinking some bigger and grander thoughts. You must commit yourself to growing and being a better version of yourself because you're in a new space. Sometimes, like Tasha said, it's a process. You have to sit with yourself and you close your eyes and you make a decision. Sometimes, Tasha, in my life, I've bypassed processes and I just made decisions. I decide to embrace this unfamiliar territory and I decide to let everything else go. I didn't There were certain areas in my life where I didn't want a process. And you have to know that in your spirit. Your spirit will tell you. Just make the decision, Toni. Just decide that this is how you're going to think going forward. And then you have some tools in place to handle any other thought that is contrary to the thoughts that you decided to think going forward. Because any thought that's contrary to the thoughts that you want to think are only thoughts from yesterday, and they will pull you back to who you used to be. And they'll have a conflict going on in your spirit between who you used to be and who you are now, and you'll find yourself stuck in this place. You're not moving forward, you're not going backward, you're just stuck between these two identities. So you have to decide to let one go in order for you to grow. And we did an episode on Beyond the Break on that particular topic, let go so you can grow. Check it out on our YouTube channel, Beyond the Break 2020 2020. All of these episodes we create with you in mind. Where are you within this breaking process? And we want to give you the tools. Why? Because we know what it feels like to experience this breaking process and different levels of breaking and not have resources. So I had to pay attention while I was broken. What is down here that I can take with me that I can use going forward? What am I to learn here? What can I feel and sense in this dark place? I know it's dark and I can't see anything, but I also believe that there's something here that I can't see, because I learned that although it's dark doesn't mean that there's nothing there. It's just not visible to my eyes, but I can feel it. I can feel that there's something down here with me. I can feel that there's something I'm supposed to take with me. I can feel that there's something that I can use. See, when you're at a breaking point and living life beyond the break, you have to shift into your spiritual senses, not your physical ones. In your spiritual senses, you can tell that there's some gems and jewels in that darkness that you're supposed to take with you. You can sense it. You can sense it. So we're here to encourage you to believe in that and also understand that, yes, you're right. Stand in your power. Get your confidence and courage back. Set up boundaries around your heart and your peace, because what's ahead of you is so much greater and grander than anything that's behind you. Back to you, Tisha.
Absolutely. One of the things that I was thinking about, Dr. Tony, while you were talking, and again, this is a way of putting it in plain words where you can get this message over and over again, get it through, right? It can go through the filter, okay? Think about if you were a seed
Mm-hmm.
and this is being a flower. We talk about seeds and flowers all the time because it's something that we always commonly see, but
Mm-hmm.
it's something we know. We know a flower is beautiful. We know it smells good. We know that it has purpose towards it, right? But imagine you started your life as a seed. That's the before you,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you started your life as a seed, things were going on. You were used to your shell. You were in your shell. Everything might have seemed together. This you were used to being a certain way, being in a certain environment. But then you decide to go on a journey. You desire to go on a journey. You desire to be something greater. So we have to understand that when you have a desire to be something great, there's some process that's going to come with that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so there's some process, there's some outcomes you're not going to understand, there's some challenges you're going to come up against, right? So once you go on this journey and you go into the ground, it's not just you go into the ground and boom, you're a flower,
Mm-hmm.
right? Seed has to crack open, that seed has to break, right? And then as it breaks, what's in you is going to come
Mhm.
out because you got to become grounded. And sometimes the flower, instead of just going up and just blooming, it grows down first, right? So it seemed like you fell. It seemed like you're going the wrong way. It seemed like you're going deeper and deeper into the dark. You're under a whole bunch of manure, right? You know what the manure is in your life, right? A bunch of stuff you're going through that's just seem like it's so unnecessary, but yet it is necessary, right? So imagine being in the ground as a broken seed with all these roots, different stuff that you don't even understand is roots,
Mhm.
right? You don't even understand that you have a life above the ground. You don't even understand it. All you know is you was a seed and now you're in the ground and you got stuff going down, right? When you don't know who you are, that could be devastating.
Mm.
Don't know that a flower is ahead of you. You don't know that blooming is possible, right? So you're looking at the break as if, okay, this is what I am now. I'm just the break. I'm just the open seed with the roots that go down. You don't even know it's roots. So the thing that I want you all to know is when you understand who you are, and this is the first thing I tell my daughter, make sure you get to know who you are, know yourself before you go to present yourself to anybody in this world so that you don't let other people's desires, opinions, and agendas shift and change you to what they want you to believe. You'll be grounded in what you actually, who you really are, right? So when you are in the ground and your stuff is out, everything fell apart, everything is just going, and somebody told you, oh, you got so much potential, you
Mm.
have so much greatness in you, and all you see is that you're growing down in the ground. You don't know that you're becoming grounded. You don't know that humility is happening. You don't know the process of it all just yet. Nobody told you how you come from a seed to a flower yet. You didn't read what was on your package. Your higher self did,
Mhm.
right? And so everything fall apart and you're out, and you can't understand what is this? Why is it dark down here? What
Mm.
is this wet going on? Is it just mushy? And why am I under this manure? And why am I going through all of this? I thought I was something great. I thought life was supposed to be great. What's the point of going through this if I'm just going to be stuck in the ground? At least when I was a seed, I was out there living, but were you really living or were you in the show? So greatness called you and now you're in the ground, right? But imagine knowing who you are, knowing that you have a flower, having that at the forefront of your mind, like really having a habit of taking consideration, like you said, Dr. Tony, taking into consideration that there is more to life than what you see, and allowing that inkling of hope to push you further. So what happens is now you're under pressure, and now you're under pressure and things are going on, and you're allowing yourself to just not give up, to keep not die in the process, to keep going. And all of a sudden you start seeing yourself grow up.
Mm.
Now here's the thing, when you are growing up, you still don't look like the rose because you haven't quite budded yet.
Mhm.
You got this green stem and you saying, is this who I am? Is this who I am? Is this what's going on? See, that who you are will be revealed by your higher self, by the
Mm.
spirit,
Mhm.
right? And even if you don't know who you are, just consider that I don't know who I am. I'm just gonna be great. That's all I know is I'm great, right? I'm not sure what I'm gonna turn out to be, what flowers or petals I'm gonna have. All I know is greatness is in me, and I'm gonna keep going, right? And then you grow up, and now you're budding. Now you're getting somewhere outside of this realm. So let's say you're budding, but you have not bloomed. And let's say you're regretting, you're living your time when you were budding, regretting what happened in the ground,
Mhm.
regretting the fact that you had to crack open, or looking back and saying, "Oh, I missed the times where I was a seed." You're budding. You're right at the point of blooming. You're right at the point of purpose.
Mm.
You're right at the point of where your passion is, right? But imagine being at that breaking point at that point where you're ready to break out too. Imagine being at that point and regretting the fact that you had to grow down instead of up.
Mm.
And down made it so when you get where you are, your message is etched in. It's engraved. It cannot be removed. Not there's not no when by the time you done blooming, the wind could blow, the rain could happen, the sun could shine, people can walk, and you are still steady, not move. Right?
Mhm.
So imagine when you're budding, because you don't look like what you thought it was gonna look like yet, right? And I said yet, you say, I miss being a seed.
Mm.
That's what it sounds like when you're holding on to who you used to be. I
Mhm.
just want to go back to being a seed when everything was simple, when I didn't have all of this on me, when I didn't go through the dirt. I want to undo the dirt. I want to, you're resenting what happened in the dirt. You're resenting the fact that you cracked open under pressure. And this is why we say you have to give grace to yourself because everything that you go through has a purpose if you know how to use your pain for power. The same thing with the butterfly. Imagine being in a cocoon. Do you understand that um the caterpillar comes out of the cocoon, it has to use the pressure of the smallest opening in order to push through so that the blood in his body can go to his wings so that it can fly. That if you look at the butterfly and you see it struggling, you try to cut out, you limit its chance to fly high. Did you know that? Did you know that it that pressure, that point of pushing out is what makes it actually fly high? It's what happened in the cocoon that turned the caterpillar into the butterfly, right? We look at butterflies and we go, oh, it's so pretty. Oh, it looks nice. Oh, look at the butterfly. And you look at all the stripes and everything that it's made of. But could you see when you was in a place of stuck and dark and ugly when you was in a cocoon? Did you see how that happened? You didn't see how that happened. You couldn't see how that happened. All you know is there was a time where it's a time where you had to transition out of the cocoon. But right now, you have to deal with the processes that happen in the cocoon. But guess what? All of those different levels and processes of being done with done and through with through is what contributed to your beauty as a butterfly.
Wow.
But imagine how many times in the cocoon when you were transitioning to a butterfly, you said, I missed the times where I was in the caterpillar. At least I can roam the ground.
Mhm.
At least, you know, at least I was all together. I don't know what this is. I can't move. I'm stuck in a place. All this stuff happening. My body's changing.
Mhm.
What in the world is going on? I didn't call for this. But imagine you had purpose when you got into this. You weren't supposed to stay a caterpillar. You weren't supposed to stay a seed. That see, greatness is in you. If you're watching this episode, it's not coincidental. There's greatness in you.
Yes.
There's greatness that has been calling you more over and over and over again. And if you got a break to get to that greatness, so be it. Because purpose is why we're here.
Mm.
We're not here to just live stale, stuck and stagnant. We're not here to just live mundane life. We got these physical human bodies,
Mm.
these vehicles I like to call that help us maneuver through life. We have the ability to feel, to see, to taste, to touch, to smell. We have the ability to observe the created while serving the creator. We have the ability to get the full spectrum of life, to
Mm.
live the full spectrum of life. We have the ability to go out and be our most powerful self. We have so much to look forward to. So if you can remember, if you're in the break and you can't see that one day you're gonna bud, and then when you bud, you're gonna blossom.
Mm.
When you blossom, it's gonna be all worth it. When you're at the point of blossoming, you don't regret what happened in the ground because you're standing there with all your glory
Mm.
for everybody to get your story
Mhm.
and get the blessing of it and desire greatness. That they too go into the ground and
Mhm.
open. But they know, okay, she went through this way, I'm gonna go through this way. Did she have to go through all of this? She did. This is why we do Beyond the Break, because yes, we had to go through all of this. Right? We had to crack open and all our stuff was everywhere. We had to go down before we go up because we're not easily moved
That's
by
right.
every wind. You have to literally uproot me
My
to do something. You can't just pluck me.
my God.
You know what I mean? And so there's so much life in the blooming that you actually appreciate the fact that now you're not moved with every day. You're like, oh, so that was to make me strong. Now let me tell you something. Nobody wants to be strong all the time. We
Mm,
always, you're strong, black woman, be strong. We don't want to be strong all the time. That's tiring. Sometimes we would like you to take the week.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes we want things easy sometimes too. Just
Yeah.
because we're strong, doesn't mean that that's what we want to be.
That's
We're
right.
just not willing to give up and settle for less. This is what strong is. We're not willing to let anything kill us. We're not willing to let anything tell us we got to stay still, stuck, and stagnant. That's not what we came for when purpose and greatness has called us.
Yes.
So if you want to walk out in purpose and you want to really see what the break is for, you're going to take this little inkling of hope and keep going. This little inkling of hope will allow you to press through the pressure so that you can squeeze your way out of the place of stuck, out of the place of darkness, and so that you can see what it was all for, so that you can get the glory of your life that the Most High wanted you to have, because He already got the glory. He already got the glory from knowing your story from beginning to end, right?
Mm-hmm.
He know your story from beginning to end. She a flower and she going through the seed cracking open, and the gardener knows what's going to go on with the flower.
Yes.
They know that they gotta water it sometimes. What if your tears was watering? This is things I will hold on to. This is why I did visual encouragement. You can read this stuff on my blog on the website,
Mm-hmm.
because there's processes to everything. If you can connect the processes to life, you can get a story that will just keep encouraging you over and over and over again. I look at everything and get a story. How did they make that? How did this come up? Where did it start? Where did it end? What's the story behind the elephant? What's the story behind the butterfly? What's the story behind giving birth? And this is the things we talk about. And these are the things that have helped me to move beyond the break to the point where I'm blooming and having a great time, that I'm thankful for what happened in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Grateful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for my seed stage. I'm grateful for my cracking stage. I'm grateful for my grounding stage. And as I sit here in full bloom, I am thankful, and I'm telling every seed and every seed that's going in the ground, hey, this is you have a purpose. There's more to life than just the seed. You don't have to stay a seed. The seed is just the beginning. There's more to life than you staying in your shell. But you might go through something. But just know that when you go through something, you are equipped to handle it. All you have to know is that there's greatness in me, and be willing to make this decision to push past the pain in every instance. Have that habit of consideration,
Mm-hmm.
of considering that there's more, that there's more. When you see something, okay, this is purpose, this is power. Okay, this don't look powerful. Greatness don't feel great, but there's going to come a time where greatness feels great. Why? Because you started living life in the understanding. Sometimes you're not going to understand at first, but you will eventually.
Mm-hmm.
All things will be revealed. Just got a song that says everything comes to the light. Everything. It all will come to the light. Your whole story, you'll see it come together like a puzzle. And you'll look at it and you'll just be like, oh my God, I pushed through. That was painful. But if that created this, I'll take it. I'll take it. And then you get to the point where the darkness, even the darkness in your life, become an enhancer to your life. It's not the focal point. The light of your painting is the focal point. not the darkness. So now your light and your dark is coming together to make this beautiful picture. And who matters where the dark and the light is? It's all coming together to make the glorious you. We have so much more to live for. We have so much more to conquer. We haven't even scratched the surface of what real life is. We just begun. So that there's so much more living, and I mean living, feeling alive than pain.
Mm.
So much more beautiful than not beautiful, than ugly. And if we can hold on to that and believe that it's possible that I can live a life full bloom, and not every time you get to a certain place, something happens. You don't get to a seed and crack when you crack it open. Say, see, this is why I want to do this because soon as I get somewhere else and I think I move forward, I fall 2 steps back. That 2 steps back was grounding. It was making sure that whatever blooming you achieve is sustainable. It
Mm.
was making sure that your purpose and your power cannot be moved by any and everybody, by people's opinions, by situation and circumstances. That it's there to serve you. Can you imagine your pain being there to serve you? Your pain to serve you. See, you know that when you bloom.
Yeah.
Everybody who came out of the break, people who are living beyond the break, know that your pain is actually there to serve you. That's where you get to the point in life where you're grateful just to have every day,
Mm.
just to be alive. It becomes a gift to experience your physical human body
Mm-hmm.
every day in what was created for us to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
There's always two things that exist at the same time. There's light and then there's dark. You have to focus on the light. You have to focus on the path that leads to the light if you can't see the light. But don't get comfortable in the dark. Don't make a home in the dark trying to get, moving couches and stuff in the dark, trying to get comfortable. You're not supposed to be comfortable down there. Why would you want to be comfortable down there? You know, and allow yourself to bloom. There's some people who don't want you, but if you sat through this episode that long, you got and some power and you got some desire to live out that purpose and that power. You got some desire to turn that power into pain. Go ahead and do that.
Yes. Yes.
Regular ain't for you. So we're just here to let you know that blooming is fun, that living as a butterfly that flies is amazing. There's more to life than what you see on the ground. From up top, everything is good. And we got here by pushing past the pain. We didn't get here easy. We I almost gave up a gazillion times, but I will say that the work that it took for me to get here allows me to stand grounded through the midst of trials and tribulation. I am not problem free. I have stuff going on, but I have a different mindset when that stuff going on that it does not take me down,
Yes.
right? And so that's all we're here to tell you that life beyond the break, if you can push past that breaking point, life beyond the break is so amazing and grand and worth it all. Back to you, Dr. Tony.
So fantastic and amazing. Congratulations, attractive thinkers and visual encouragers around the world. Like Tichet said, if you can hear this message, you made it beyond the breaking point. I am so happy for you. I am so excited. I encourage you to listen to this message again and again and again because the more you listen to it, the less you will hear our voices and the more you'll hear the voice within yourself giving you instructions, giving you clarity, helping you to capture the gems that you didn't hear the first time or the second time or the third time, and giving you the plan going forward, the blueprint, an option for you to, like Tashet said, see the light. See the good. You may not know which steps to take or where to, how to move forward in this new familiar unfamiliar territory, but see if you can find something good and then take a step in that direction. See if you can find some light and then take a step in that direction toward the light. See if there's something that you can make of where you are. Is there something that you can be grateful for? And then start there. Go in the grateful direction. And before you know it, you'll land right where you need to be in the greater version of yourself with greater joy, greater peace, more success than you ever imagined. Dr. Toni Hatton here. I want give you an opportunity to share with our audience where they can find more visual encouragement content from what they're hearing right now today on this episode. How can they get more visual encouragement?
Absolutely. You can go to www.visualencouragement.com. We provide mental support for movers and shakers, for trailblazers, pathfinders, and groundbreakers. All you visionaries who desire to move mountains but need help lifting the heaviness so that you can create a new vision for yourself. Go to my blog, go to my contact us page, go to my power wall. When you go to my contact us page, put in your information. Let me know how I can uplift you, enlighten you, and encourage you. And if you have a story of power, please feel free to tell me on my contact us page. Again, that's www.visualencouragement.com. See you soon.
Awesome. Dr. Toni Hatton here, your identity coach and get to the root specialist at theattractivethinker.guru. Remember to visit the website and grab your freebies there. Run on over to Amazon and grab your copy of the Attractive Thinker Experience because you're going to need these resources going forward in living life beyond a break. You always hear us say our life's work, that is to make your life better. Remember, it is not what you're going through, it's how you're doing it. Think attractively, and we will see you soon.